Welcome to the Iron Will podcast, where we talk about overcoming adversity and challenges, creating the life we truly want, and how we use iron therapy to improve our mind and body. No matter what life throws at us, we need to develop an iron will to push through whatever stands in the way to becoming the very best version of ourselves. It's never too late, but now is the time for action. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 204 of the Iron Will podcast. Breaking a cycle. One of the things that happens to a lot of us, and I'm going off my recent personal experience, is we get caught up in cycles. We get caught up in life where all of a sudden we realize that things just aren't going the way we want them to go. We realize that we're stuck or we're caught up, much like being in the water in a river, you're stuck in a current, and no matter how much you're paddling, you can't seem to break free from that current. You can't seem to break the cycle that we're in. Rarely do we worry about breaking a positive cycle, so 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something negative. It's going to be stress. It's going to be drama. And typically, when we're dealing with this, we're at a point of weakness, where we feel unable to muster the strength, the courage. Sometimes we'll sit there and we truly feel that we cannot see the solution. Or, and this is what I do, luckily I have this alcoholic brain, where I'll run all these scenarios. And rarely are they positive scenarios, especially when I'm in a point where I'm not at my strongest mentally. If I'm in a darker place, the scenarios I run reflect that. And rarely do those scenarios ever come to volition, but we get caught up, we get stuck in a cycle, we become fearful, maybe even a bit lazy. We don't like the way things are, but it's not that bad. We're still pretty comfortable in other areas, or we found other ways to make ourselves happy. But again, we're just putting a Band-Aid on what the issue is. So it's not true happiness. It's avoidance. We're medicating with drugs or booze or sex or internet or exercise. We disappear, we hide. We take all kinds of things on so that we're so busy that we don't have time to think about the things we don't want to think about. But breaking a cycle is the only way we're going to change things. And sometimes it doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it can be simple as something saying, hey, no. Recently, my daughter, 16 years old, going to school, playing, I was going to say professional hockey. Calm down, Kurt. Playing competitive hockey. Loves her hockey. Has a part-time job now. Loves having a part-time job. She's in grade 11. She's got lots on the go. And recently, we had a bit of an episode where she was really upset. And it turns out she was just feeling overwhelmed. So we tried to, let her calm down a little bit. And when we started talking, we found out that she just felt that she was spending so much time working, so much time in hockey, so much time working on her homework that she didn't have any time for herself. So as we dug a little bit deeper, we found out that, this part-time job that she has, it's at a grocery store. It's a good little business and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong there. But because she's a good worker, they were giving her more and more hours. And she had trouble saying no. Now, I've had businesses before, and if I've had, a situation where I've got 1 or 2 employees, especially part-time, that I can really count on, do a good job, well, they're the ones I'm going to call in more often. They're the ones I'm going to go to when there's something to do. It's natural as a business. You want to solve a problem. You want to provide the solution. You want to use the aces in their places, as we like to say. But the hard part is, for my daughter, she wanted to say no. But she liked the money. She likes the bigger paycheck. She enjoys the work. But she was feeling the pressure. She was stuck in a cycle. So we just had a conversation with her and said, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm fine with my 12 or 14 hours a week. Help them out once in a while is okay. But she was starting to get 24 and 28 hours, a lot of 8-hour shifts on the weekend. It's not easy. But that's part of the process. That's part of the growing up. That's part of figuring things out. Our job as parents, I feel, is to help guide, to give them the benefit of our experience. And there's nothing more rewarding as a parent to turn around and tell your kid, hey, listen, that kind of stuff, to have them turn around and say, but you don't understand, it's not the same as when you were young, right? A little frustrating, but I'm sure we remember saying that to our parents, right? Because when anyone's in stress and everyone's in a situation, they feel that situation they're in is unlike anyone else's. You don't get it, man. You don't understand what it's like. Well, as we get older and experience a lot of things, we understand what it's like. But we have to remember that person is in the middle of their own cycle or drama. So to them, it feels terrible. And that's what they feel. So it's real. So sitting down with her and explaining to her, one of her fears was that they would not call her in anymore. They would change her shifts overall. So I explained to her, I said, they like you there because you work really well. So I really doubt they're going to give you less than the hours you want. And I said, if they do, we just go find another job. That's the solution. Now, I know it as a 51-year-old male looking back or on a part-time student hour situation. But I have the benefit of being 51 years old. I have the benefit of having gone through all that stuff and seeing things and realizing the quality of a person who works hard is usually well valued. But I know that. It's not my insecurity I'm dealing with. It's her fears and insecurities that she's dealing with. So it's very much real to her. So having that conversation with her, explaining it to her and making her understand that it's okay. No matter what, it's okay. And to teach her to reinforce her boundaries. No is perfectly acceptable. In fact, like I said earlier when I started this part, sometimes the quickest way to start breaking a cycle is just to say no. Now, sometimes it's no to the individual we're dealing with that's causing part of it, but a lot of times it's saying no to ourselves. No, I will no longer accept this. No, I no longer want to feel this way. No, I no longer want to come home to a messy house. No, I no longer want to come home to an argument. No, I no longer want to get up in the morning and feel like crap because I'm up late at night because I'm not sleeping well or eating well or I'm drinking too much. The no really starts with us. And sometimes just that small act of defiance will start things happening. I'm sure if she had a conversation with her work and explained to them, hey, listen, it's just a little too many hours for me with school and hockey and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll be reasonable. In fact, they are. They understood, and they're going to do things a little bit differently. But she has to go and have that conversation. She has to go and take action. She has to take the steps to break that cycle. Just like I had to take steps to break the cycle with the gym and the training facility. I knew it had to be done. I just had to get to the point where I finally was in a position where I had to do something about it, where it left me no choice. And it started with a conversation I had with myself one night where I said, no more. This is no longer working the way it is. This is no longer how I want things to be. This is no longer something that I can continue to do as it was taking a toll on me physically, mentally, financially. And like I said before in an earlier podcast about this, I knew that in 30 days from that decision, I would be in a better place. But getting there was going to be a bit of a slug. We were going to have some hand-to-hand combat out there, on a daily basis to get through it. Now, 60 days past it, I feel tremendously better. There's still pressures. I'm still in the hole financially. I still have to recover. I'm rebuilding the brand. I'm taking Iron Horse gear to the next level. But I'm doing it under a circumstance that's much more positive. And I have the momentum of having made a tough decision pushing me along the way, helping me move forward. I've cleared so much bandwidth that I'm able to focus better on what I need to do, what I want to do, that I know in every 30 days, it's going to be that much better and that much better. I know in a year from now, I'm going to be in a position I haven't been in a long, long time. But it only could happen when I decided to break that cycle. What is the cycle that you're stuck in? Take a look at it. What would it be like not being stuck in that cycle? But look at it from the positive. Understand that there's going to be some negative. Understand that there's going to be some heavy lifting at the beginning. Understand that you're going to have to take a couple of punches to the face when you first start doing this, emotionally. Maybe physically, depends on what cycle you're stuck in. But at the end of the day, what is the positive benefit of getting on the other side of that? You're going to go through some hell, but like they say, when you're going through hell, keep fucking going. Keep moving forward. Spend some time today, alone, quiet, pen and paper, journal, really. Start writing a few things. What's some things that you want to change, that have to change? What cycle do you have to break? And focus on what the positive aspect of breaking that cycle. What is 30 days later going to be like? Maybe it's a small thing you have to deal with. Maybe it's fucking big. Big ones are scary. Maybe you're in a relationship that has to end or change dramatically, or it has to end, or we're afraid to make the change because we're afraid it may end. That's not easy. Especially if we're in our 40s or 50s or older. The thought of having to start again, the thought of being alone. Maybe it's something you're career-wise, a job, a business. The one thing I want you to remember is that, and I have to tell myself this a lot, is the one thing that's not going to be taken away is the knowledge and the experience. So having to rebuild a business, it's not hard the second time or third time around. It's easier because you've acquired a lot of knowledge the first and second time, 10th time, 15th time. Look at a lot of successes out there business-wise. They'll tell you they failed hard along the way. A lot of successful business we see now are the third, fourth, and fifth reincarnation of a business or a new business after a failure of a business before. That's how we learn. But we don't lose that knowledge. We don't lose that skill set. As we become better at what we're doing, the mastery, the craftsmanship follows along with us. What we have to do now is work on not repeating the same mistakes, not putting ourselves in a similar situation we did before that may have caused things not to work out the first time, recognizing those things, being strong enough to say no if it doesn't work, being strong enough to say yes and then go after it. But that's one of the benefits of breaking a cycle is you get to take all that knowledge and all that experience and apply it to the next thing. You cannot do that when you are stuck in a negative situation. You cannot do that if you've made it in such a way that you're stuck with this job you hate, but it pays the bills and you keep adding fucking bills to your plate. If that's the cycle you're stuck in, the financial one, stop spending money. Get yourself out of that pressure where you have to make that money. Clear up some debt. Work extra hours. Get a part-time job. That's that heavy lifting. That's the really uncomfortable part that we fear out of, the thought of the extra work or the slug it's going to be. But we have to get past that. Take it on the chin. Go out there. And then take that extra money you make and apply it and clear up some debt. Keep removing debt to the point where It is no longer the pressure it is. So all of a sudden you can start feeling better about making a decision that maybe you do take a different job, that maybe you make 20% less. But it's okay because you've gotten rid of a lot of the pressures that were keeping you in that job or career that you no longer enjoyed. This is the time, guys. This is the time to find out what it is you truly want to do and then go and start to create that foundation and that structure that will allow you to make that change. Don't just fucking walk away from everything. Don't go out for a pack of smokes and never come home. Don't pull that shit. But start cleaning things up. Get your fucking house in order, as they say. And at the same time, start figuring out what you're going to do, how you want to change your career or your business or your life, and work on them simultaneously, because the positivity of working on something that's good will create momentum and excitement and energy, which is going to help you do the hard stuff, the heavy lifting, the extra job, the extra hours, the tough conversations, the purging of things. That's how we break a cycle. Find out what cycle you're stuck with and start working on it. If you're stuck, reach out. Sometimes just having a conversation goes a long way. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you guys. kurthaas@gmail.com. I don't have all the solutions. I'm still trying to figure my shit out. But sometimes having a conversation with someone who gets it and can be impartial and give you a couple suggestions goes a long way. Guys, that's all I have to say for now on that. Head on over to Iron Horse Gear. Use the code word IRONWILL to save 20% on some cycle breaking hoodies. And as always, guys and girls, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.